Ongliatori. Welcome to the Political Bistro. And no, that was not Italian, it wasn't Finnish, it wasn't Swedish, it wasn't Russian. That, my friends, was Basque, a language isolate. It's not related to any other language out there. Me, I'm related to all sorts of people. We have my cousins on all the time here at the Political Bistro. I'm your maitre d', Mark Griswold.
I am your boy named sous chef, Steve Corda.
And I am your server, Shelley Dudley, and this evening, for our first course, we will be starting out with El Caviar Ruso, Beluga, Osetra, y Sevruga. Russian caviar.
Russian caviar in the Basque country.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Well, the Basque country is a fascinating place. It straddles the French,
Although they would call it
Spanish,
Basque.
Basque.
Yes, but that's okay.
Or actually, they wouldn't.
I call it chuckleheads.
Yeah.
There you go. Even better.
Which is how to say Basque country in the Basque language. And if you want to know how to say it in Spanish, it's
Basque.
País Vasco.
There you go.
But they're right there along the Western Pyrenees.
Right, San
France and
Sebastian,
Spain.
major city there.
El
and
País, yes. Basque.
They consider themselves Basque first before
Yes, before they consider themselves
French
Spanish.
or Spanish.
Anything
Yes.
else, yeah.
Yeah, to the point of
Or
some
from
of
Idaho. All the Basques I knew were from Nevada and Idaho.
Yeah. And in fact, some of them get pretty violent. A minority, but there is a Basque separatist group, the ETA, and they actually tried to assassinate King Juan Carlos in the 80s. So
In the 1980s?
in the 1980s.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that the Red Brigade? There's anyway.
No, but I'm sure they had some.
They have
Speaking
their-
of Russian caviar, I'm sure they were partly funded by the communists and all those separatist groups. Kind of are.
Get your money where you can get it.
They're all socialists.
So there you go. In honor of the separatist movement, we're having Russian caviar.
Although the
this
guy
evening.
from Nevada, his family was his dad was part of the Paul Laxalt machine. They were good. They were politically active conservatives.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they escape communism and realize what a
They start
bad show it was.
Once capitalism starts.
Sometimes
opening up,
they escape the high-rise penthouses of Mumbai,
Mumbai.
and come here and foist their socialism
from
on us.
from a mansion.
from a mansion.
Shaman.
Speaking of separatists.
Shaman.
So, along with Spanish, Basque language, Euskara, it's the oldest European language. It's the co-official language of the Basque country, and Navarre, which is the Basque country in France.
Navarre.
It's unrelated to any other language in the known world. It's language isolate, traced back 20,000 years ago, and it was banned by Franco during his reign. Francisco Franco.
Francisco Franco.
Is still dead.
Is that
That's an old Saturday Night Live sketch.
Ah,
They would
okay.
report on the news every week. Francisco, Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead. And we're still here solving the world's problems in 4 courses.
Yeah. More fun facts about the Basque country. Food and Wine, according to Food and Wine magazine, statistics show that the Basques spend more than twice as much of their disposable income on food as we do in the United States, and they probably spend a greater percentage of their time on cooking and eating too. They actually have more Michelin-starred restaurants than anywhere. Thanks to inventive chefs, this statistic says, like Arzak. So we'll have to go check out his restaurant.
We're going to have to send our chef to learn to study under Arzak. He probably has to climb a sheer rock face to get there.
Well,
Yeah.
our menu this evening comes from the Michelin-starred restaurant El Boroa, if I can get it out.
Yeah. Can you?
No.
Okay. We'll give it.
Hatehia,
Yeah.
which is in Amorebieta et Jano, Spain.
There you go.
And that music we came into was
Yeah.
Pink Martini, one of my favorites, but they were doing the Bolero, which is by Maurice Ravel, who happens to be born today. but his mother was Basque.
See?
Oh,
So,
that's very cool.
Yeah, that was a fun little
See,
coincidence.
Shelley?
That is a fun little coincidence.
Yeah.
All those
Sometimes
bad things you're saying.
I pick out the
About Bolero.
Yep, Bolero, Basque, everything.
I often pick out the theme of the evening before I do anything else, and
Fun
sometimes
little
we have fun little
coincidences happen.
coincidence happen.
Yeah, oh yeah. We had a ton of those this week. Yeah, people don't get to see the abouye before we go on air when we're just a restaurant. She's back there, her ass. She's got a butcher knife. She's selling Basque Bolero in that order, and then she shifts it up and goes Bolero Basque.
It's the butcher knife that's the most scary.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Basque for a butcher knife. And the official hat of the Basque, I'm told by Basques, a chapela.
Okay.
It looks like a beret, but if you call it a beret, get ready to be berated by people telling you it's a chapela.
Those Basques are tough folk, mountain
Yeah,
folk.
They are.
So
I like
Not
them.
as tough as our mixologist tonight, though.
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
let's shout out to our mixologist. Definitely
He's
a tough
certainly
guy.
mysterious enough
Chris.
to be Basque.
He's got those eyes of steel.
Kind of like James Bond.
Yeah. Have you been reading a little bit of the Ian Fleming novels?
Not lately.
Okay, but you have read them.
Yes, some of them.
Okay,
Some of them,
'Cause
not all of them.
That's how Ian Fleming describes them.
Exactly.
Those steely blue eyes.
Steely blue eyes, which
Actually,
which is appropriate in Daniel Craig's case.
Yeah. No, I think Daniel Craig is the best Bond ever. The
Whoa.
closest to the book.
And definitely steely blue eyes.
Yeah. I actually just finished, as I was driving down here, listening to the book on tape of From Russia with Love.
And he would definitely fit into the Basque country.
Cool, and a book on tape would fit into the 80s.
Well, but what else? I mean, that's why you still.
That's true.
I do the same thing. That's why I caught it.
That's why. But that's what you. That's what everybody calls them still. I mean, no
I
one
know.
says my.
I call them audiobooks.
My audio. Do you call them audiobooks?
I do
Well,
just because
guess
I
I'm stuck
actually
back in
Yes.
am old. A young guy can say whatever they want, but if I say an old guy thing, I just get
Or an
hammered.
MP3 that you download. An
Hammered
MP3.
by all my young
Right,
women.
my
By all my
audiobook
young
on
women.
my
By my
iPhone 6
young
Plus,
women, I say.
downloaded from the King County Library System.
Yeah, that's a good system.
It
It is a
it's
great system, yes.
I haven't done any of the audiobooks yet, but
That's
I do
great.
almost
think-
every book I'm reading is from there.
I think that's the thing about exploring the King County Library
I don't have
online
the-
is like there's so
I don't have the
much.
plus though, because I still got the young, strong eyes. I could read the smaller screen.
Yeah.
So you don't need the 6 Plus.
Just saying that so all my young women can hear that.
If there's any
I ain't old, I'm
Basque,
experienced.
if there's any Euskaran females out there,
Oh, don't.
you can
The
send
last thing I
emails.
need. The last thing I need.
Is a Basque lady? I
I've
don't
already
know.
That's
overthrown my own government more than once.
A little fire in your life might be interesting.
Oh, I don't know
No,
about that.
There's a lot of
But,
kindling, there's a lot of kindling in my life.
Email
Basque girls or any other girls,
Yeah, any girls. I'm joking, of course.
can email
Desperate girls,
I don't think so.
desperate to succeed.
That's
Anyway, all right.
Beastroyers at thepoliticalbistro.com.
That's right.
Yes.
Destroyers.
And,
you want to be something?
You know,
Be something
men
around
as well.
me.
Anybody that wants to share their stories of traveling to the Basque Country, running with the bulls of Pamplona, like our friend Victor. Or, the Spice Girls. Any Spice Girls out there listening, can email us at beastroyers@politicalbistro.com.
All right.
But let's get to it.
What's our menu spice?
What is our menu spice? Espelette pepper,
Espelette pepper, always.
which
Excellent.
is features strongly in the Basque cuisine.
A
Very
little
nice.
spicy.
And the spice on today's out here in the world is, I'm going to read from a story. This is, what was this, Daily News? It's hard not to be a little cynical about the sporting world. The story of long-distance runner Ivan Fernandez Anaya may serve as a welcome antidote. The Spanish runner who trains in the Basque capital of Vitoria-Gasteiz has become something of a cult hero for a kind gesture that helped an opponent win a race. He was trailing behind Olympic bronze medalist Abel Mutai during a cross-country race in Berlanda, Navarra. So it's all Basque. Mutai was leading comfortably until he pulled up 10 to 20 meters short of the finish line, thinking the race was already over. Instead of passing Mutai, Fernandez slowed down and somehow communicated to the non-Spanish speaking Mutai to keep going. I didn't deserve to win it, Fernandez Anaya told the newspaper. It's a bunch of newspapers. I did what I had to do. He was the rightful winner. He created a gap that I couldn't have closed if he hadn't made a mistake. As soon as I saw he was stopping, I knew I wasn't going to pass him. Now his coach got on him about this, but I mean, what that sportsmanship like that is missing from the
Absolutely.
world.
Well,
where
that
Integrity.
reminded me of the name Chariots of Fire guy.
I don't know his name.
You
But
know,
yeah.
I was thinking about
Google-
Chariots of
Google
Fire
that.
just the other day.
Somebody Google that. I mean, he was
Yeah.
all about, he refused to run on a Sunday. And, he probably would have won. I think it was the 1936 Olympics.
Yeah, no, and I mean, this is that opportunity. You could have
Yeah.
Yes.
done the wrong thing and profited.
Absolutely.
We love to say,
by being
we love to say,
dishonest.
do the right thing. And it wasn't dishonest. The guy stopped.
Right.
Now, he stopped because he doesn't speak Spanish. He got confused as to the course. I don't know how you miss a tape.
Right.
But, he had a clear-cut lead. And the crowd was exhorting him to go, but he doesn't speak Spanish. So he was just basically confused. It was the end of a steeplechase event, which is a tough event. And this guy, here's a picture. He's pointing him forward instead of passing him.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll
And
post that up
but
at the
That's it.
Facebook
So the
page.
spice of the week is sportsmanship
Yeah,
and integrity.
doing the
thing.
right thing, even if it costs you. It's
Even
easy
if
to
it's
do-
not necessarily the wrong thing. I mean, sometimes you
That-
can follow the rules.
Yes.
But it's still the wrong thing.
Yeah, there's. This gets to something that's missing from the world now: moral absolutes, moral truths. That certain things are right and certain things are wrong.
Right.
And to act
Moral
on
integrity,
that.
yes.
Yeah, rather than to be in the moment and say, you know what, this guy was killing me, and I don't know why he stopped. But you don't deserve to win that race. And how do you feel about yourself?
But it's not just doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. It's also doing the right thing even when there's nobody there to see it.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Well, that's character is who we are in the dark.
Well, we're going to rock out here to a little La Cultura by Cortatu.
Cortatu.
Here on the Political Bistro. We're going to head back to the kitchen. We'll be right back. Be sure to email us any comments you have at bestroyers@thepoliticalbistro.com or check us out online at thepoliticalbistro.com.
Su propia vida.
You're listening to The Political Bistro, brought to you by Jim Dandy Sewer and Plumbing.
It's something you don't even think about until it happens to you. Maybe it'll even strike in the middle of the night. Will you be ready? You owe it to yourself and to your home to have a plan. To have a reliable plumber standing at the ready, waiting for your call. Jim Dandy to the rescue. Dependability is their middle name. That's right, Jim Dependable Dandy. Well, that really doesn't work, does it? But just do your home a favor and keep this number handy when plumbing emergencies strike. 206-633-1141. And not just for on-call help with Jim Dandy rushing quickly to your home when you need him. Jim Dandy effectively handles routine plumbing problems too. Not to mention plumbing projects, like adding a new sink, shower, or even a completely new bathroom to your home. Again, jot down 206-633-1141 or click on jimdandysewer.com. Call 206-633-1141 to send
Jim Dandy to the rescue.
Have you ever wondered about what it would be like to send your child to Gateway Christian Schools in Bremerton and Paulsbo, Bethany Lutheran in Port Orchard, or Shorewood Christian in Burien? Stop wondering and act today during KGNW's half-off tuition promotion. You already know the benefits of giving your child a top-quality Christian education. 820 AM KGNW has partnered with numerous Christian schools throughout the Puget Sound in a unique program that will save you thousands of dollars on tuition for the 2015-2016 school year. Some of our schools have only one half-price tuition available, so if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, call Chad at 206-269-6273 today. This incredible half-price offer is for new families only. Read the full requirements and get all of the details at kgnw.com. That's kgnw.com. New schools are being added weekly, so if you don't see a school you'd like to attend, call us or check the website often at kgnw.com.
And now back to the Political Bistro.
This sounds a little Bond-like.
This is cool music. I
Yeah.
like it.
This is La Chica del Bazzocchi by Betagari.
It's definitely Bond-like.
Welcome back to the Political Bistro, where we're celebrating the cuisine of the Basque country this evening. I am your maitre d', Mark Griswold.
Don't tell us how tall the giant is. Help us pick out a stone. I am your boy named sous chef, Steve Corda.
I am your server, Shelley Dudley, and we are solving the world's problems in 4 easy courses tonight for our second course.
They ain't easy.
Oh, yeah.
I watch the chef. Just because you go in there and scream at him doesn't mean it's easy.
I mean, I can't even pronounce it.
I can't even pronounce it.
It's the butcher knife.
You don't pronounce it, son. You eat it.
Well, I've got a beautiful course for you now. This is a Medallon de Salmon marinado y nori sobre ensalada de patata y terciopelo de tomate. This is a beautiful salmon medallion marinated with seaweed over a potato salad and served with a beautiful tomato.
Nice. Terciopelo. What is terciopelo? I can recognize every other word.
You can look it up during our break.
All right.
Or ask our chef.
We don't break.
Well, before we get to our guest, Roger Valdez from Smart Growth Seattle, I'm just going to throw out a couple more this days in history. 1876, Alexander Graham Bell granted a patent for the invention he calls the telephone.
Watson, come here. I need you.
Yes.
Weren't those the words? First words?
Yes, it was, because he had electrocuted, or he'd shocked himself, cut himself.
And why didn't he electrocute himself?
Because electrocution means you're dead.
Yeah, he wouldn't be saying much of anything.
He would not have submitted the patent. It would have gone to the other guy.
Watson?
No.
Yeah.
Someone else invented the telephone at the same exact time, and Bell just happened to submit the patent right before. You can Google that, too.
It was an idea whose time had come.
Yes. 1936, prelude to World War II. In violation of the Locarno Pact and the Treaty of Versailles, Germany reoccupies the Rhineland. And France did what France does best, sat idly by. There you go.
Maybe they're a peaceful people. Maybe they're learning from the Swiss.
Sure. Yeah, well, the Swiss didn't sit idly by. They put giant guns inside their barns and aircraft runways inside their mountains, shut off by waterfalls. The Swiss are not peaceful people.
Well, I don't know about peaceful. They're neutral people, but they are very well prepared for war should it arrive on their doorstep.
The French, not so much.
They just don't go out seeking. They're not warmongering people.
Oh, sure.
They're not pugnacious.
There you go. All right, well, enough of that. Let's get to our guest, Roger Valdez, who he's neutral, not necessarily peaceful.
Okay.
I don't know. He's got some fire in his belly.
Oh, yeah.
I was able to sit down with him last week at his office and talk about Smart Growth Seattle, and the guy's all right.
He
classifies himself as a Burkean, which I like. Welcome, Roger.
Hi there.
Roger, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. What is a Burkean?
Well, a Burkean is I'm talking about Edmund Burke, who is a member of Parliament in Great Britain in the 18th century. Was actually a supporter of the American Revolution in Parliament, and he was an opponent of the French Revolution, and was considered to be by many people the father of conservatism, although that's debatable.
Yeah, okay.
Very interesting. Now, speaking of interesting, your blog is very fascinating as well.
Well, we try to keep things moving. I was just looking at you had mentioned microhousing, and I just was looking at the Seattle Times and saw that microhousing has now been declared an alternative, an affordable alternative, which is what we were saying a year ago. But
well, it takes the city council a little while to come along.
Right, and the Seattle Times too, I guess. But
yes, indeed.
Although one wonders with how silly our silly council is, how long it will be before Shama Sawant and her gang of merry men decide that microhousing is too small and that everyone has a right to a 2,000 square foot house.
Shama.
Well, I've already seen in the comments section in a Public Cola article that someone equating the minimum size of an apartment unit to a minimum wage. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we battled over last year before the council passed restrictive legislation creating a minimum, an average minimum size for microhousing, which totally throws off the economic model and makes the outcome less affordable. But it's almost as if the Times didn't realize all that had happened last year, because everything they're pointing out now about microhousing is what we were saying is the reason why this was such a great innovative housing solution in some of the more expensive neighborhoods in the city.
It definitely is. And Seattle is definitely leading the way in the country as far as microhousing goes. But like you said, the council is a little slow to come along. They have a bit to learn. What advice could you give the council as far as coming along and advancing this concept much more quickly?
Well, the thing is, we were leaders. I mean, we had come up with, Jim Potter, who passed away last May, had done a lot of work in this area and had figured out a way to use the code to create smaller, more affordable units on smaller pieces of land, like 5,000 square feet or even 2,500 square feet. And the magic of these things was it's kind of like splitting a dinner check. I mean, the land costs, the construction costs are kind of the same, but you have more people that can divide up the costs of the financing and the construction and the land. And so by putting more people in smaller units, you could slide in a micro apartment building in between two larger one-bedroom or two-bedroom apartments, and those people would be paying $1,500, $2,000 a month, and you'd be paying $800, $900. Now they're smaller, but you get access to the same cool stuff that the other people do, the same views, the same atmosphere, the same transit access, but you're paying a lot less. Unfortunately, what the council did is when they dialed up the sizes of those and they put a bunch of other requirements in, like bike parking and 2 sinks and other things, they're making that impossible to do, because you have to have the size of the units gets too big, and you might as well build the one-bedroom apartments that are $1,500 because you're not competitive anymore. So it's a real example of what happens with over-regulation when it kills a good idea.
And that's what you're all about at Smart Growth Seattle, is bringing forth good ideas and combating the bad ones. So tell us a little bit more about your organization.
Well, we were created at the end of 2012, and I kind of did the work part-time over 2013, and we focused mainly on small lot infill development for single families, which is smaller single family homes, again kind of squeezed in smaller lots. And then we took on the microhousing thing and fought for that. And then, I started doing this full-time in 2014, and what we're really trying to do is support, sustainable, innovative housing choice and solution that's driven by the market. And that's, to us, we think the Growth Management Act is a good thing. It's based on the idea we should grow in our cities, but we're not going to be successful at growing in the cities if we over-regulate the way we build housing here, and that's exactly what's happening in Seattle right now. So we're really fighting a wave of regulatory interference with the market that is just going to make housing more expensive.
How can people get involved and help stop that?
Well, the best thing I think that folks can do, if you're motivated, is go to our website. You can sign up and get on our email list.
What is the website?
It's just Smart Growth Seattle altogether .org, www.smartgrowthseattle.org. And really what we do is we try to activate our folks, which are often builders. That are family-owned building businesses. I mean, like 6 projects a year, 10 projects a year. People that have, mom and dad are the head of the company, and a couple of the kids are driving the truck and supervising subcontractors. I mean, we're talking small business people. The vast majority of of who we represent are smaller to mid-sized builders. And we try to channel their energy into letting the council know that when they make a decision that adds cost to housing, they're making it more expensive for renters, but they're also disincentivizing, building in the city. A lot of our guys can move to Shoreline or Burien and build out there, and that just means less housing for renters and people that want housing in Seattle, less business for those guys in Seattle, and fewer sales tax receipts and other fees that are generated by building in our city. So, everybody wins when we build more housing in Seattle, and that's really what we try to communicate to the council consistently.
One of the things that I love on your website, you were talking about the cost of housing, and you were saying that right now it's driven by renters competing against renters rather than landlords competing against landlords. So it's demand outstripping supply.
Yeah, and you talked in the segment about Alexander Graham Bell, and he's kind of an interesting guy because part of what motivated the development of the phone was competition and people trying to be the first one to get across the finish line to deliver that to the market. And housing is just like that, and micro-housing was a perfect example of Potter, finding a way to create a way to meet the demand for housing in places like Capitol Hill and Ballard, where, there were just a lot of people that want to live there, and people say, hey, I'm glad to live in a smaller place in Capitol Hill if I only have to pay $900. And he met that demand, and that's why we have 3,000 micro units in the pipeline, is because there was an innovative solution there.
Awesome.
And,
well, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, we have to run, but check out smartgrowthseattle.org. We will link to it. Roger Valdez, thank you very much for joining us here on the Political Bistro.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for
being here. All right. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Political Bistro, brought to you by Jim Dandy Sewer and Plumbing.
Ken Zospi here on the Political
Doesn't
Bistro.
look like Zospi on the sheet, though.
Yeah,
It's like
Ken 7, Ken Zospi. So now you know a little Basque. You know Ongiatori is welcome and Zospi is 7. What more do you need to know?
What happened
Other
to Ken's
than,
1 through 6?
There you go.
Yeah.
Other than I am your maitre d', Mark Griswold.
I am your boy named sous chef, Steve Corda.
I am your server, number 1,
Number 1.
Shelley
Who
Dudley.
is number 1?
That's it. You don't want to know what's going to happen for 2 through 7.
Oh, boy.
Our
You are. We started off the bistro with no server.
The
That's
best. The best.
And I'm number 53, so there's a lot of ground to cover. Anyway, I
Well-
want to eat. What
Well,
do we
we
got?
have arrived. We now have Jamon Iberico and tosta de pan de maíz.
Looks like ham to me.
It is ham.
Ah.
It's beautiful ham with toasted cornbread. Enjoy.
Yum. And need to take a minute.
Jim Dandy to the rescue.
Thank our great sponsor here, Jim Dandy Sewer and Plumbing. You know, they've been with us
From the beginning.
From the beginning. In
for-
fact,
for
they're
10
number
months
1.
now. They are number 1. And,
Absolutely. I love
Since
them.
1928.
1908.
What?
The most established plumber in town,
That's amazing.
but they are state of the art. They can do the video drain inspection, green plumbing,
Hybrid
hybrid
water
hot
heaters.
water heaters, and they'll even go into those micro homes.
They can do plumbing construction.
Yeah,
You want to put up a new micro apartment, micro home?
they
They'll
will help you with that.
they'll
And
help
in
you.
fact, they even did some plumbing work on the Space Needle.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's right. They did a lot of monument work around
And,
here.
and they've
Monorail.
they
Shama!
They dug a ditch underneath the monorail, so they're awesome.
That sounds like you're setting up
And-
a joke, but it's just true.
No.
You dug a ditch under the monorail, pal.
You know, I never really thought about sewage drainage underneath the Space Needle, but that's
Well, they had to. The plumbing in the Space Needle itself was backed up, so that was just
Wow.
a standard job in an unstandard location. And of course, they had to have the
at how many feet
big
high
pump.
too? Wow.
Yeah, 600 something feet high, and
Wow.
The big pump.
that to get all that
Sounds like an
to
Elmore-
combat the
Elmore
pressure.
Leonard novel.
The
The big pump.
the gravity
Combating the pressure.
was
of
intense.
gravity.
Well, we'll have to get him on. He's too busy helping.
Everything this guy does sounds like a crime novel.
He's too busy out there.
He is busy.
Helping our great listeners with their plumbing,
Yeah.
but we're trying to get him on to tell us more plumbing
They're
stories. because
growing, they're
believe it or
expanding.
not,
He's a good guy.
He is a good
plumbing
guy.
can be fascinating. So one day we'll get him here in the studio. Maybe
So
we'll
if our
have to
listeners,
break a
listeners
pipe.
wanted to keep him busy further,
Yeah.
what phone number?
206-633-1141 brings Jim Dandy to the rescue, or you can go to jimdandysewer.com. They're great because they only charge by the half hour, and they will give you a quote right over the phone.
Great people. One liberal, though, I heard.
No, I
No,
think that's just
okay.
a show.
Whoa! Good. I had a shiver
just
went over up my spine. Okay.
No, all good people. All good people.
Absolutely,
I'm
very
bouncing
good
back.
people.
And the guy that answers the phone most of the time, Mel,
Yeah.
he does some voiceover work. So
He's a
when you
good
get to
guy.
call, so he actually has a lady that calls him just to speak, just to hear his voice.
Yeah.
I think she purposely breaks her.
I wonder if that's why
plugs
ladies
up
call
her
me.
Dream.
Just to hear your
Purposely
voice.
plugs up her drain. That sounds like a Tom Waits song. That sounds like a Tin Pan Alley song. The
All right.
woman that plugs up her drain just to hear your voice.
Moving on, birthdays. 1671, Rob Roy McGregor, Scottish outlaw, Robert the Red. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love
Of
it.
course, Maurice Ravel, born in 1875. And just figured I'd throw a fun one in here. Heinz Volk was born in 1936. Anyone just want to throw out a random guess
What
as
year
to
was he-
Heinz
what
Volk
year?
is? 1936. Heinz Volk.
Give us an arena in which he would be famous.
36. Now, that was the year of the Olympics.
That
So he
was.
was born then.
But he was born then. He's still
So
alive.
he hit his prime in the 60s.
He's from Estonia. Random guess.
No, is he sports? Is he music? Is he?
Well, I mean,
it would give it
Estonian.
away.
just give us a broad category, not specific.
From
but,
Estonia.
Shot put.
There you go.
No. Just broad. He's not sports, so broad
Oh.
category. Like
Politics.
he's politician and caricaturist.
Oh, fascinating.
So there you go.
Was he famous before just now?
Probably not. But Wikipedia, they have say he's famous enough to get on Wikipedia. That's why every once in a while I like to throw in some random folks that
I'll give you two random folks.
All right. Born today?
No. Yesterday was our videographer's birthday, James Kruger.
All right. Happy birthday, James.
From Flow Motion Studios.
He was
born from Flow Motion Studios.
I am remiss. We've been live streaming this whole time. Now, if you go to the Facebook page on a regular basis,
you're going to see something beautiful,
which you should like every time you're there. You will notice that I did post the link up. But if you're catching us halfway through the bistro, go to the Facebook page, click on the YouTube link there, and you can see us live and in color. And if you're listening to this on the iTunes podcast, you can still go to
catch the live stream later at Flow Motion Studios, right?
Or actually just go to the Facebook page. It'll be up there. It'll also be at thepoliticalbistro.com.
And we are colorful. There are colors to see here. There's some purple, some red,
some black.
I'm doing the boy named sous chef thing. James has does James appear on this, or is he just background?
No, he's just background.
Should we just ignore him? Like I normally
do. We can turn the camera over. Now everybody can see him.
Okay.
There
plummeted. We go. Ratings plummet.
Wow, we got all sorts of cameras here. You're just.
There we
go. You didn't
go.
know that was a camera.
I didn't realize there was a camera on the other side. I thought this was the only one. But each time James comes here to live stream us, there's some new toy. So it's always fun.
He's got toys all over the place.
Expanding.
And also 1 week from now, 1 week from tomorrow, is our mixologist Joshua's birthday.
All right.
So we'll mention that again next week, I'm sure. Right. But there we are.
A couple other fun facts about the Basque Country, or maybe not so fun facts. Guernica.
I like Guernica.
It's the famous picture by
well, it's a
Pablo
battle. It's
Picasso.
A battle too.
Right. But probably made famous by the Pablo Picasso painting.
And made equally famous by Dave Bowling's book. Dave Bowling, the sports writer for the Tacoma News Tribune, wrote a book called Guernica. Oh. It'll be a movie any day now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, it will.
Oh,
it was a bestseller.
Oh, right.
My boy, Dave Bowling.
That is a town in Vizcaya in the Basque Country. And it's a market town, and those wily Germans, they teamed up through the Italian fighter pilots during the Spanish Civil War, given the okay by our friend Francisco Franco, who is
Generalissimo.
Still dead. Generalissimo. And they bombed the town on market day to inflict the most deaths on the women and children in the town. So... good guy.
So
those,
boo.
Boo.
Boo Germans.
Yes.
Boo historical Germans.
Right.
Modern Germans just
now
awesome.
In this is fun. In ancient times, now we're back to the fun-loving Basque people, not the fun not loving Germans. In ancient times, their land was supposed to have been peopled by a race of giants called the Hentilak. These giants lived side by side with human inhabitants until the coming of Christ. At that time, they disappeared, leaving behind only one of their number named Olincero. Today, Olincero is a sort of folk icon or mascot who appears in the form of dolls and straw figures in processions, homes, and sometimes even churches. And here's another good one. A special relationship developed in rural communities where families often lived on individual farms in relative isolation. Mm-hmm. This was especially true with their nearest neighbor, called the Lehan Azura, or first neighbor. The role played by first neighbors sometimes even goes beyond that of blood relatives. The best man and chief bridesmaid at weddings are chosen from the household of the Lehan Auzo. So there you go.
Good community.
And, of course, also this day in history, Bloody Sunday, a group of 600 civil rights marchers brutally attacked by state and local police in Selma, Alabama. And I will leave it up to your Google search, Beastroyers, to find out who was in control, what party was in control of Selma, Alabama in 1965.
Not so forward thinking.
But that incident... that was one of those situations that opened the eyes of the rest of the country to what was going on in the South at that time.
Yes, and paved the way for the civil rights movement.
Right. Yeah, and later on, they were able to do a non-bloody march in Selma, our boy MLK, Martin Luther King, who I will leave it up to your Google search to find out what party he belonged to. Now, since this is a political bistro, we did a little politics with our boy Roger Valdez.
Yeah, we did.
Now, that was a cool guy.
He was.
You
He's
jumped
great.
right in there.
What a great
You studied
destroyer.
up on him, Shelley.
I'm a fan of micro-housing.
There we go.
I am a fan of micro-housing.
Is that an English thing?
No.
That's just your own.
There are some.
Nice.
There are some micro houses.
All of the houses in the UK are micro.
It's all micro. Unless
Well,
it's
in
a
London,
palace.
at least, you
it's
get
a palace
outside
or it's
the,
micro.
You get outside the city. They got some estates.
Shama wants it all micro.
But I always love it when liberals just go above and beyond.
And I always love it when a sentence starts with, I always love it when liberals.
make caricatures of themselves. So the University of California at Irvine, which I'm surprised this wasn't the University of California at Berkeley. The University of California at Irvine is out berserkly, passed legislation. Flags construct paradigms of conformity and set homogenized standards for others to obtain, which in this country typically are idolized by freedom, equality, and democracy, the bill reads. They passed legislation banning the flag from the public lobby in the
what I just
hub
heard there is that means that people come together under one homogenous idea of freedom and equality.
Which, so this is the thing, right?
And
this is why I love. This is why
we're objecting to vocabulary.
This is why I love when liberals just make caricatures. This I'm totally behind, yet they are totally not behind freedom, equality, and democracy.
That's crazy.
That's horrible.
So
the legislation resolved that any decoration that a student finds offensive will be removed from the associate student main lobby if the request is made. Well, you know what, Irvine, that offends me.
You need to sign up for a Teletechnet course.
Now, I do need to point out that the executive cabinet vetoed that, so good job. They said that this does not represent the 30,000 students on the campus, so they did make it good at the end. But the fact that can even get that far is nuts.
That gets your dander up.
But it does get my dander up. But we are going to head back to the kitchen to grab our dessert, and we will be right back here. Be sure to check us out on
You're listening to the Political Bistro, brought to you by Jim Dandy Sewer and Plumbing.
It's something you don't even think about until it happens to you. Maybe it'll even strike in the middle of the night. Will you be ready? You owe it to yourself and to your home to have a plan. To have a reliable plumber standing at the ready, waiting for your call. Jim Dandy to the rescue. Dependability is their middle name. That's right, Jim Dependable Dandy. Well, that really doesn't work, does it? But just do your home a favor and keep this number handy when plumbing emergencies strike. 206-633-1141. And not just for on-call help with Jim Dandy rushing quickly to your home when you need him. Jim Dandy effectively handles routine plumbing problems too. Not to mention plumbing projects, like adding a new sink, shower, or even a completely new bathroom to your home. Again, jot down 206-633-1141 or click on jimdandysewer.com. Call 206-633-1141 to send
Jim Dandy to the rescue.
And now back to the Political Bistro.
Boy, I wish there was more room to dance here at the Political Bistro, but there's just so many tables of diners.
I know.
Dining on our dessert.
Yeah, no place to polka.
I was
But
gonna say,
actually,
wow.
this is it's a very fun sounding song, but the title is Realpolitik. So maybe not so fun. I don't speak Basque, so
Maybe
I don't know
politics
what
is more fun in
Politics
Basque
is more fun.
in Pyrenees.
This is by Joseba Tapia, or Joseba.
So Joseph Tapia. If he were here and he was a boxer, he'd be Joey Tapia.
Joey
you go.
Tapia.
Joey
I like
Tapia,
it.
we
and
like
me?
it. And that sounds a little Italian.
Who'd you
I'm
be?
a maitre d'. I'm Mark Griswold.
I am the boy named sous chef, Steve Corda.
And I am your server, Shelley Dudley, here at the Political Bistro, where politics is more fun.
It is more fun.
Yeah, then we're not going to say then anything. We're just going to say it is more fun.
It is more fun.
Like we're 12.
We are 12.
Politics is more fun! And with that, I leave you!
Tonight for our dessert, our final course, we have a brownie con helado de canela. And this is a beautiful chocolate brownie, gooey chocolate brownie with cinnamon ice cream.
Yum.
Yeah.
Homemade, handmade by our chef.
I like it.
Yes.
All right.
You know, you can tell we got a different mixologist because normally every course has got all kinds of booze in it that I have to avoid because I drive the van.
I know. And tonight we're teetotaling.
Yeah, we're nice and sober tonight.
That's because the Basques are already drunk on life.
They're drunk on
I was going to
love.
say, doesn't mean the party's any less fun, though.
No.
Yeah, we should have gotten our boy Victor to come in and talk about running with the bulls. We'll have to get him back.
We do. Is he Basque? He's not.
No,
But
no.
He did it in that area. I mean,
He's actually half Greek and half Italian.
wow.
So
Just
in
ladies,
fact,
watch your step.
his grandfather was a hero of the Greek resistance during World War II.
Oh, now that would be interesting to have him come in and talk
You know what?
about.
I will give him a call and we will have him.
We
on as
should
a
have a
guest.
resistance theme.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Resistance menu, all the great resistances.
Or we can just have a Spartan menu.
Yeah.
Oh, double pun there. I love it when I make puns that I don't even know that I'm making until after I've made them.
There you go.
Best.
You like to keep yourself in the dark till the last second. You couldn't trust yourself with that information.
Well, before we go on to talking more politics here, I always leave these things till the end, and then the music starts, and then I'm talking over the announcer, like I did our last break.
That's good, though.
ThePoliticalBistro.com, or email us at bistroyers@thepoliticalbistro.com, or check us out.
BISTR.
BISTROYERS.
B something.
And like our Facebook page.
Absolutely.
Let's get us over 200 likes. Jen Jetta, speaking of world travelers, will be our guest next week.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, she's a friend of the show. She's called in a couple times, and she's going to be talking about living in Paris and traveling the world and finding fascinating jewelry and home decor for her shop,
that's
JJ
her
Caprice.
shop,
That's
yeah.
her shop, yeah.
What's the name of the shop again?
JJ Caprice.
Nice.
Jen Jetta, JJ. And we'll have lots of stories to tell about our travels in Europe with her.
Yes, it'll be fun.
March 15th, if you're looking for something fun to do, the Caper Workshop and Banquet will be held. Caper is the Citizens Alliance for Property Rights. Great organization. They're all over the state. They're actually in a couple different states, but great group. You know, we were just talking about
Housing.
property, and they take the fight to Olympia and combat things like the Growth Management Act, which our boy Roger likes, and maybe there's some good parts to it, but in general, I'm not really a fan. And anybody that lives east of the mountains is, in general, not a fan. And then March 21st, Pierce County Lincoln Day Dinner, featuring Congressman Dave Reichert. So if you're looking for something to do there, Pierce County, just go to piercegop.org for that, and you can go to capr.us for the Caper Workshop and Banquet. That's actually an all-day event. They'll have workshops during the day and the banquet in the evening. So there's that.
Sounds like fun.
There is that.
I've been hanging on to this article for a while, and would love to get to it.
What article is
It's in
this?
No time like the
now I
present.
can't find it. Where did I put it?
What does it look like?
It's paper.
Oh, there it is right there.
It's with your keys. It's hiding.
Tuesday, December 23rd, 2014.
You've been hanging on to that for quite a while.
I have.
I turned into a 1940s announcer
It
to read
did. It just felt like it.
Hey, yay.
This is from Brandon Ambrosino from Vox.com. Actually, this is from December 19th. I printed it off on December 23rd. Tipping perpetuates racism, classism, and poverty. Let's get rid of it.
So he's talking about getting rid of tipping because it creates racism and poverty.
Classism and poverty. And that's funny because I always thought tipping kind of was a way to alleviate poverty.
I thought that was something you did with cows.
That too.
When you were tired of watching them.
Now you're from
stand
Montana.
up all day.
Actually, both of you have experience with Montana. Before we get to this article, have you ever
Why-
cow tipped?
No, I've not.
You don't push them to the side. You push them straight down.
Yes.
You?
You
Have
just
you-
push them down. You basically ride them to the ground.
And you have cow tipped?
And you hope it's not a bull.
So you
Yeah, you're
speak
in
from
trouble.
experience?
You just push them down. I'm just telling you how it's done. I
Okay,
don't
you're
know.
not going to go on the
In the
record.
dark of
James,
night,
have
in the
you
dark of night.
ever gone cow
Look
tipping?
at that face. That guy's done everything ridiculous.
No. Chris Billet, have you ever gone cow tipping?
Not gone.
Oh, he says
yes.
He says yes. I believe it. Anyway, back
Wild,
to
Chris.
tipping with cash. Tipping lets employers off the hook. And you know what? I actually had a job down in Florida while I was there. And indeed, they do pay $2.13 an hour. But you know what? Right now, you and I, Steve,
Yes.
we make
I know where this is going.
below the minimum wage as proposed by Shama Salwan.
Yeah.
But we don't, because you know what? We go out and we sell advertising,
And
and,
we
we're
make
paid
commission.
on commission.
Yes.
And our commission checks are usually bigger than our base pay.
Yes, but if we have many times mentioned that base pay wise, somebody in the, and especially if there's non salaried sales commissions, the sales positions out there, commission only,
Right.
and at $15 an hour with an expected 20% commission on every sale,
Yeah.
economically you were almost ready to leave our career and go to that one.
Yeah, exactly. You
And
know, if you
leave,
can
leave
find
your
a job
as
at
owner of the bistro, maitre d'.
Right,
Yeah.
if you can, actually serve up hash at a nice restaurant.
Right,
But,
see, I'm
yeah,
serving
okay.
up hash,
It lets
see?
employers off the hook, but it doesn't. Be responsible.
Yeah.
Do your job, and 9 times out of 10, you'll get a 20% tip.
Well, and it's kind of at the point, I mean, they're
if-
taxed no matter what, right?
Right.
Isn't
Yeah,
that?
and you know what it lets the employer off the hook. You know how much the employer's making that owns the restaurant? I guarantee you he's making a lot less than minimum wage, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
And how many businesses fail outright?
Right. I mean,
First year.
the guy that's waiting tables, he is
Oh.
guaranteed to make minimum wage.
Here comes
the
some
owner,
anger and potential
not
individual
as a maitre d'.
Yep.
I make good money. I make
Here it
big
comes.
tips. I make
Here it
where they
comes.
slip $100 bills into my
English
breast
accent,
pocket.
straight out of Wales.
just to play devil's advocate here.
You're not
there-
You're not
there-
playing. You're serious about being the
No,
devil's
not
advocate.
at all. There,
See, there it is. Not at all.
Not at all.
All right, you have 2 minutes.
She's gonna blow you up.
Not
Madame server.
I am just playing devil's advocate here. There is the argument that the owner of the business should be responsible and actually pay the employees what they're worth, regardless of what the customer decides to tip. The tip is a
To ensure
reward
promptness.
over and above. It's for the service.
Right,
It's
and-
to say, hey, thank you for giving me great service.
Right.
So there is the argument that the employer should pay the employee what they are worth.
And you know what?
to the employer.
I would agree with that if tipping wasn't that way anymore. You're pretty much, unless service, and even then, people leave tips. Even when service when it's subpar. Me, I always leave 2 pennies, but it's got to be real subpar because I know they work on tips.
Do you not think that it's a bit deplorable, though, that an employer would say, you know what, I don't have to pay you anything. I'm just going to let the public pay you.
Or you could just raise the cost of food, I guess. Anyway, it all comes out in the wash.
It
Someone
does.
pays for it.
Someone pays for it. That's true.
Well, thank you for joining us here on the Political Bistro, where we don't take any tips. But we will, actually, if you go over to Facebook, The Political Bistro, or thepoliticalbistro.com, leave us a tip. Leave us a comment.
Farewell, youth of America.
The preceding program was sponsored by Jim Dandy Sewer and Plumbing, and the opinions expressed on the preceding program were not necessarily those of the staff, management, or advertising.
What's the weather look like? We have the answer.
Here's the weather for the Northwest.
Clear skies in place tonight with some patchy late night fog, an overnight low right around 40 to 43. Foggy start to our Sunday, otherwise sunshine throughout the afternoon or high in the upper 50s. Monday, we will be in and out of the clouds, upper 50s, and highs near 55 on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Sally Russell in the Storm Report Forecast Center, and that is your weather across the Puget Sound.
Ripped from the headlines, here's another reminder about the importance of protecting our identities. A New York bank teller has been found guilty of stealing customer data and selling it to an identity theft ring. The ring stole over $850,000 by using bank tellers to fraudulently obtain the personal information of hundreds of customers and creating fake ID cards to withdraw money from their accounts. Stories like this are...